I'll let Vivi do the introduction.
Okay. Just let me know.
I mean now, right? I'm gonna mute my
Alright.
mic. I was like, that was my warning. What's up, guys? I'm gonna mute myself now, though. All right, it's all you guys. So
Yeah. Thanks, Fac. All right. Well, that was a sloppy introduction, but hey, welcome to Valhalla League. Week 2 took a while for us to get here. We had the draft like a month ago, but it's fine. We're here. We're here now. We got a good game today. I am joined with the absolutely beautiful Desto the Great. Hello, Desto. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Here, good old cast on my birthday. Wouldn't be anywhere else right now. Let me tell you, it's absolutely amazing. How are you feeling today, man?
I'm good. I get the cast with you. I mean, and the birthday boy. I'm feeling great. But also, this set's gonna be great. We are setting up the lobby, getting ready. Do you want to get into kind of the teams or rosters? What we think we will expect from today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, assuming everything goes correctly, or I guess not correctly, I'm not sure who has subs or what's going on, but the main rosters are looking like for the Djungelskogs, you got Mr. House, Theatic Duck, Phoenix, Swooper, and Iron Snake. Obviously, good old Elron and Phoenix are the classic from last season, coming back from a victory, so got that same backline going in. Whooper, new to the league this season. He's had a pretty decent showing. I'm not exactly sure how his set went last week, but in terms of like scrims and I played with him a little bit in casuals. He's been looking really good. Mr. House, big Mr. House fan myself. Was on my brother's team last season. Got to play with him a lot. He's a good man. So I'm feeling pretty good about that roster. And on the other end of Kittens Mittens, we got It's Really Cyber in the jungle, Token Billy in the solo lane, Destende in the mid, Boom Heaven support, and Private Fuzzy in the ADC. So both rosters are actually looking really strong. I mean, you're playing in Thor this season. You've gotten the scrim against some of these guys, I imagine. How are you feeling about this matchup?
Yeah. So obviously new to Thor, got demoted. I'm washed now, but anyway, yeah. It's new. A lot of these players, holy moly, playing against a lot of these players is pretty new. But I haven't had the chance of scrim Djungelskogs yet, but I have scrimmed KDM quite a few times. I have not. I don't think I've ever scrimmed their starting 5, but they're really good. That dual lane specifically kind of like shouts out to me because Private Fuzzy and Boom Have I think are pretty just a solid dual lane. I remember that's always been like kind of a key point in our scrims against them. Bistende is also a great mid laner. The jungle and solo have always swapped, so it's kind of hard. I haven't even seen Deputy moving right. That's who it is. Or am I?
It says a token on the roster list is Token Billy, but I'm not sure.
Sorry. I'm screwing up the rosters already. Look at that. But yeah,
great start from the beginning.
I know, right? I haven't had the chance to play against Token, and I'm a solo myself, so I haven't even had the chance to play against him. So I don't know what to expect from him. Cyber, I don't think we've also scrimmed against. I think we've scrimmed against the other jungler they have. So 2 new players for me. I haven't had the chance to play against them, but I have heard good things. So I don't know. Both these rosters are looking good. This is gonna be a great set. I'm really excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, you called yourself washed. I'm the leader of the wash clan, so trust me, I know plenty about being washed. But yeah, in terms of Kittens wins, I've only really played with Boomhev before. Man was an absolute Chad. Showed up during our tournament that we played, actually, the Valhalla tournament before the season started, and man absolutely fragged out, carried me to a W in that. So
that's what definitely, like there you go.
Definitely a premier dual lane. I thought he performed really well. I've heard good things about many of the other people, but haven't quite gotten to play with him. But I'm feeling like this matchup would be really good.
And here we are into picks and bans. Shout out to Phoenix and the rest of the casting team for getting this set up. This is beautiful. I'm so excited for us to be using this. I've been wanting this to happen for so long, even when I was owner, but I'm glad we finally got it in. And Athena coming out of the first ban right away. That's how do you feel about that?
I mean, Athena and Tiamat, I both feel the exact same way. I feel like these gods have been strong for a really long time, and I'm not surprised at all. I've seen Athena banned a lot during the past month or so, but what really surprised me here would be that Loki van. Definitely a strong assassin pick right now. Don't get me wrong. Up there among the top tiers, but I feel like this may be a targeted ban against It's Really Cyber. I haven't really played against him before, but I have heard that he tends to favor this Loki pick, so maybe a bit of a target ban over on his side there. And then Gilgamesh is Gilgamesh. Not many surprises there. Jan is still a premier mid laner as well. Some staple picks there. I mean, most of the bans make sense. I think the Loki's only the real outlier so far, but seems to be targeted against Cyber.
Interesting enough, though, it's actually KDMM who did ban it themselves, so Cyber on that squad. So,
oh, my bad.
yeah. No, you're good, bro. You're good, bro. I do that all the time.
Yeah, then I'm definitely surprised. I have no idea. Maybe it's just been going really well against him in scrims or something. Loki's certainly a strong pick nonetheless, so not
Well, I mean,
overly
I don't know if you've
surprising.
been paying attention to SPL this weekend, but he's been banned or picked just about every single game. So he's definitely had a showing. I never thought I would see the day that Loki would be a top pick in like the pro league, and let alone just competitive play. Like this is interesting. I'm glad at least it's this Loki and not split push Loki. So
yeah, we certainly had a rise of fame, and Kukulkan locked in immediately. Just saw a round of nerfs, but Kukulkan will still be Kukulkan. No matter what. Ton of lane pressure brought in, the double transformation, being able to ult 2 times in a single team fight. Always super valuable. You see the Chiron hovered on the other side, and that's going to be quick locked in. No surprises there. Chiron has been dominant in the dual lane. He has very good early pressure, especially as soon as you get level 2, you're able to level up that dash and just instantaneously look for kill pressure in that lane. His scaling for an ability-based hunter is actually rather well into the late game. You don't really see that much of a drop-off. He's just looking really great, and the set hover would not be surprised whatsoever to see this locked in. Set is just a dominant force in the jungle, probably the best jungler right now outside of that Gilgamesh pick. Offers a ton of pressure and team fight potential. Pretty excited to see how he can do on that set pick right there.
see, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this already, but I am one of the people who think Set is very overrated. I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good. I especially think he's good at lower levels of play because people just struggle to play against him. But I do think Set kind of, I think the powerhouse he was. I know he received some nerfs earlier in the season, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I barely played Season A until recently, so very new. But
yeah, he received some alt nerfs and I believe maybe a bit on his cooldowns, if I'm not mistaken.
ooh,
But I will try to pick us up on that thing. Serket actually does very, very well into Set in particular. Obviously that Serket ultimate cuts off all of the healing off of Kingslayer and just kind of throws him where he doesn't want to be inside of the fight. So when you have a Set with a big target on his head with that Serket ult, definitely does a lot there. Serket also doing really, really well. You mentioned the SPL earlier. Sam for Soccer and Lasbro in particular have been faking this a lot in the SPL, and they have been making it work and just running through the team with pressure. You can build kind of tanky on her, or you can just go for the pure one shot. Both of them work really, really well. Just a really good god that's scaling in. Don Zabora also kind of was weird. When he first came out, people thought he was really, really OP, and then when it finally came time for him to be played in comp, he kind of just wasn't. And then more recently than not, Panda Cat played it in the SPL playoffs and just fragged on it 3 games in a row. And now you're seeing a resurgence of him again. So he's been in a interesting spot over the past, I guess since his release, honestly. And kind of excited to see how he's able to be piloted here in this game.
yeah, I feel like a big thing of Danza is people are starting to really utilize that ultimate much more effectively than at launch. So people are kind of like flying through the jungle and just surprising people with random gangs with that rocket. And just of course he's just, I don't know, he's solid. I don't think he's like broken, but I think he's a great pick. But you know what's interesting to me is that the 2 big solo laners that have been for pretty much throughout the whole season, that finally got some hefty nerfs, are still being picked here and played in the top 3. Kukulkan and King Arthur. That matchup, I mean, that's same old. But how do you feel? Do you think that maybe like we should be looking at other solo picks, or do you feel like these 2 are still the dominant forces of the solo lane?
I mean, I'm honestly in agreement with Djungelskogs and Kittens wins here. I think they're still dominant. The nerfs are certainly needed, and I think they certainly made them not quite as oppressive as they used to be, but they were so much better and so much higher on this pedestal than just about every other solo laner was that
Ooh.
knocking them down a peg kind of puts them more on the playing field with some of the others, but just still a dominant force. But we see the Fenrir and the Cuckoo Khan picked up. I'm pretty excited to see that. I'm a big Cuckoo Khan fan, let me tell you. And that should be a lot of fun to see. And then we got Phoenix on the Agni here, definitely a big fan of that pick. I think Agni personally is a great god. He just offers so much burst damage. He can just single-handedly win a late game team fight just by finding a stun on someone and bombing them down for their entire HP bar. Ares also fantastic setup for that. Assuming he can get any big pulls in these team fight stages, Agni will just shred him down immediately. Cuckoo Khan as well with the Fenrir. I mean, obviously the combo that you're looking at here is just Fenrir ult into Cuckoo Khan ult, but for support role, I mean, Serket or Fenrir, honestly, I'm not sure which one's going to support, and I'm not sure which one's going to jungle, but it should be a lot of fun to see.
Well, now that the screen's transition, we now see it is actually the Serket support. Still, like, I mean, still good. Serket support, I mean, maybe not as dominant as it once was forever ago, like, what, season 5, I think, is when she was most dominant in that support role, but, like, still, I think she's still a solid support, especially with Boomhead's playstyle. He's a very aggressive support. So I think it's gonna be good, but it looks like Hooper support. I actually thought he was a jungler here, but maybe that's a secondary role. So I believe he played support last week, but I thought that was because it was like sub issues. But I guess not. Maybe that's where he is.
He's listed as the main support on the rosters page, so maybe he just did a bit of a role swap at the beginning of the season. I wasn't sure what he signed up for, I guess, but yeah, on the page here it does say that he is support, so should be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, between the Serket and the Fenrir, honestly, a lot to choose in that support. I mean, if you're looking for aggressive supports, that's two of the premier picks right there. Serket has great level 2 kill potential in that lane as soon as she gets that kiss online. I mean, if you've ever been a mid laner against a Serket in the jungle, I mean, you know what that level 2 feels like. You get hit with the 2, you get hit with an auto, you get hit with the 1, and your health bar's gone. And it definitely doesn't feel great. So definitely when I look at that lane, I'm thinking some early pressure that they're trying to get out there. But it's not like Ares and Chiron has bad early pressure either. Definitely a more standard lane, but a lot of that kill potential there, especially if any chains find their mark, or if that Chiron can get their dash at level 3 or at level 2 and just get in there and look for some kill potential. So it should be fun.
So I want to kind of point out what happened a little bit earlier here, before the game even started. We saw Tokabilly heading towards those lines, kind of get a few stacks, a few extra like points towards that range meter. Very, very typical Colin start right now. But Whooper said nah and just took away the vines before he could even get to one. So kind of like a smart microplay there. I was kind of a fan of that.
Yeah, a little bit of a microplay off the start. Yeah, Colin definitely does like doing that. That's kind of funny that the vines are going to go away so soon, because it is a fun little thing to see Colin just run around and get all the rage off that. He's going to transform, but Mr. House is going to use the 3 to get away.
Yeah, I got mixed them up for a second. I was like, why is he going towards the other tower? But never mind, he's going towards his own tower. That was my mistake. But yeah, good getting out of there. I mean, any solo player knows that Kukalin's just level 2 transformation. If you're just gonna play a super aggro against it, you're probably gonna die. So, smart to kind of get back in there.
Yeah, that early transformation for sure. Just that's one of the number 1 killers in solo lane. That level 2 Kukulkan transformation absolutely will mess you up if you're not prepared for it. But if you see the set actually going for the Boomla's Hammer, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Kingslayer, even after they removed the Boomla's proc off of set 2, still just really, really good for those cooldown resets. You essentially just want to go in the Kingslayer and then spam all of your cooldowns on repeat. It makes you really, really hard to kill. I'm personally not a fan of Boombas, because I think it puts a really big damper on your early game, but definitely understandable why you go for that. In the Fenrir, you're opting for the very, very standard Eye of the Jungle tier 1 mace. As we see Fenrir setting up for a gank right now.
Yeah, he does Gleep it, gets a stun onto the Ares, but no follow-up from either Boom or Fuzzy. They just, I don't think they were ready, don't think they had their abilities ready to commit. Unfortunate, but I guess got a little bit of pressure, like, suppose. Trouble
Yeah, I
invade coming up
believe
soon, but maybe a little early, actually, so no invade.
I believe Drox is actually sitting on a ward right there because they just played really, really far back, and I don't know if that ward was just placed or not, but definitely they placed it back. But they are still going to get some value out of here, as that is a red buff invade right off the bat. Stripping that away from Phoenix is going to be really good. They're looking for the purple as well, but it looks like not quite able to get it. The chains are going to connect and force Boomhead off of that buff, but a red buff invade to start, I mean, you're not upset about that whatsoever if you're on KWM. Definitely good to utilize that pressure out of the Circuit early game from the support. You do want to look for plays like that, obviously, when you have those more aggressive picks, and good to see them getting active in the early there.
I'm gonna get off the series mode for a moment and just say, since Phoenix was a bully to me earlier, I'm gonna just trash talk him instead. So, haha, no red for you. No, I'm kidding. but that, I agree. That's great. That's exactly what you should be doing in these kind of games. Just trying to get those invades, especially when you have such a high pressure comp like KWM does right now. Like, get those invades, you know. Just, you got two assassins. They especially since Boomhead has really good clear for like building no damage early. Like, yeah, absolutely capitalize on that and get those invades when possible.
Yeah, when I look at these two team comps here, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, realistically speaking, the Djungelskogs late game comp just looks better to me on paper. I mean, the Chiron's obviously going to scale really, really well. Agni as well into that. Ares are feeling good, but we're going to see an alternate stance here. My man just rocketed from across the entire planet, goes in, forces out the beads and the kill there. Really big play there. Not only is he obviously dead and behind now, but those beads being out means that there is both a Fenrir and a Circuit in the game, as well as just Danzabora in general. You don't want to be caught. That's three different people that can very easily capitalize on a lack of beads. So not only is he dead, but as soon as he comes alive, he's got about a good 2-minute plus window where he could very easily die again. So he's probably gonna have to be a tower boy for a little while here. Make sure that he doesn't get picked off again.
Yeah,
they're looking
Boom,
pretty
though,
aggressive on this.
Pretty bad situation. Gets double meteor. Doesn't die though. Set is around. Possibly looking for the kill here. Does actually use the sandstorm to get closer, but that's Circuit. She's a slippery little one. She's gonna get out of there. That's fine.
Circuit's got plenty of dashes, plenty of ways to get out of there. Not feeling very. A little bit threatened there, but standard Circuit things, not too much to worry about there. Just showing a little bit more face. That time they were ready for that red buff invade, just a turret as soon as he gets there. They're not too worried about it.
Kind of, I mean, we did get one kill, but a little bit slower pace so far. I mean, kind of. I mean, we saw some invades, and I actually see a nice gold lead here by KWM, about 1.2k up. Only 5 minutes in. That's actually pretty huge. If they can keep this up, this momentum up, and just snowball this lead, they're gonna be in a great situation. Skullin is getting ganked on, triple and he is a bad situation, and will get picked up by Septic Duck. I'm just calling him Duck. The cool duck, not Ducky.
Yeah, absolutely. Cooler duck here. Yeah, a lot of aggression actually showing off on the red side. They just showed up at my man's blue buff and said, "This is mine, and so is your life." A triple rotation right off the bat, 6 minutes in. Definitely doesn't feel good for that Kukulin, no doubt. He's just sitting there trying to have a good time clearing his blue, and the whole team shows up. Not a ton he can do about that one, but a good play. Nice early grouping. Definitely, as you were just saying, they had a pretty significant lead on KWM, and that just stifled it a little bit there. I'm not sure if they actually managed to invade the blue, but killing the Kukulin in general is obviously going to set them in a really good spot for for the Djungelskogs. So
nice little meteor onto Boom to make sure he doesn't get those harpies, and Skogs will secure it. Looks like a Sunder possibly did come out. No, okay. I thought I saw one, but I don't. There's not even one on the board, so I'm an idiot. So ignore me. But
you just have so much PTSD from being sundered that you see him fly everywhere you go. Nothing you can really do about that.
The life of a solo laner, I swear. I either die, but I guess someday I die.
That's the way it'll go. Obviously, from the invade, Mr. House gonna have a little bit of an XP lead. Definitely King Arthur, one that you like to be setting ahead. I mean, that god is a dominant force no matter where he goes. His team fight is absolutely ridiculous. He's just got more abilities than everybody else. He's just gonna waltz up and slam the backline with a billion different things, and there's a lot you can do about that. So that'll definitely be nice to see him get a lead there. This time, Fender immediately going to be on the blue buff. You can actually see the Kukulkan and the support going to be coming over just in case due to the pressure that was put on it last time. No such thing's going to happen from the Djungelskogs. They're not even going to worry about it. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, this late game comp from the Djungelskogs, in my mind, just looks better on paper. So I definitely do want to see KWM making some aggressive plays here, but it's actually the Djungelskogs.
Not to boom, but does pull out the beads, making sure he does not get picked. I thought he was dead, but nope. But he will have his beads down, which means he is an easy target for this Ares, who still has an ultimate. But I don't think he's gonna blink in and go for anything just yet. So, but
that's just the Ares effect right there. 5 beads off the get-go from KWM. They don't want to get pulled anytime soon, so. But obviously, getting the beads off of that effect is really good, because one of the drawbacks of these assassins, as a support, is definitely towards these mid phases of the game. They can be picked off pretty fast. Their natural protection is just not quite as high. Tank Boots definitely going to do a lot to stifle that. As everyone knows, Tank Boots very strong. Hard to kill people anyway. But good to get those beads out regardless. Gonna look for a Scorpion here and just get that and open it up. A boom actually.
Yeah, double dash in for both assassins, but Wooper does have the Ares on, pulls it, gets the kill onto Boom. Here comes the Kukulkan with a stun on the Phoenix. Down he goes. 1-for-1 trade so far, mid in support. I think that's definitely a better win for KWM. I mean, I'd rather lose my support than my mid laner, so. But you're trying to invade the red, might actually get it. Kuku's right here. He's trying to commit to it, doesn't get it.
I know. Nakamura just drops the one on top of him, does his whole health, and the chase gonna happen, and that brutalize is gonna connect.
Now, goodbye. Yep, that was, I forgot the guy name for a second there, in case you didn't know. But.
Yeah, little surprised to see the invade there. I think he was just thinking that, you know, he could catch him behind real quick, catch him off guard, not seeing that. But Private Fuzzy just a little too privy to it, shows up from behind, and that one hits like a train, just absolutely leads the health bar away from that set, and just gonna allow for the chase to come in after and get the kill. Starts off really good there, actually. Wooper doing what he realistically should be doing. He Boom have actually 1 HP here.
Phoenix almost had it. Oh no.
Actions of a seconds away, but the Circuit Dash is going to be able to go off. But yeah, it starts off really good. Wooper does what he has to do. I mean, he knows that the beads are down and he pulls them in, but just a fantastic Cuckoo ult deletes the Agni in that fight and allows for them to get good pressure here. But once again, just showing face on this blue buff, being a little unrelentless. Fenrir trying to get it before they could get there, but they're rotate and show up. I guess one good saving grace here with KWM is it is Kukulkan. He's probably the character that cares the least about having that blue buff, but that is still XP and gold going the way of the Djungelskogs and still pressure gained on that side of the map. Never gonna complain about that.
Yeah, Kukulkan's not the best god from playing from behind, especially now that they nerfed his ultimate cooldown to 100 seconds. So he, you know, his one big team fight utility got to be up a little bit less now. So hopefully, I mean, Kukulkan's doing a pretty good job staying up. He's only, I think, we're like half a level behind, I believe. So not too bad. But I actually kind of want to point out, we see the Arthur here pick up Stone of Gaia, and then we see Kukulkan off in the Mystical Mail. So Stone of Gaia saw that nerf. What do you think about the difference between picking up and not picking up here for both these solo laners?
You know, I don't dislike the Mystical Mail pick whatsoever. I think obviously, I mean, it's Kukulkan, he's raging out, he pretty much has a Mystical Mail built into his kit. I think whether you go for Stone of Gaia or don't, it's almost up to preference, because Stone of Gaia obviously was built by everybody before the nerf. They pretty much nerfed it by half, like took away half of the stats off the passive and most of the stats. So it was a pretty hefty nerf, but I mean it's free health. You're not complaining really ever. If you want to build it, go ahead. I can see the argument for both here. So I mean, whether on both sides of the coin here, I think I understand it. I'm not really too worried about either of the picks there. There's definitely, I mean, the knock up off of Kukal and alt's gonna proc that immediately, so good to get that Sona guy on my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you got, what, Fenrir, you got Circat ult, you got Kukal, and speaking of ults, that ult just elites. Private Fuzzy, I mean, that's what Set does. I mean, I did say I think he's overrated, but he's still good. And that's exactly why. But nice little damage coming out from the Fenrir, but nice double onto the Set. He's like, oh, but he killed him in return, and the Snake kills Fenrir. Also the fall down, nice little play, but didn't work out the way they wanted to. Skogs win that engagement, get 3 picks versus the 1 KWM got.
Absolutely, man. They pulled off some Street Fighter level combos there, just going in with the death wave. But actually, Viscende under pressure here, he is just gonna die. Not a ton he could do there. Alt a little bit too predictable, a little bit off the mark, and just huge plays by the Djungelskogs there. Set comes in, absolutely just obliterates him. His entire health bar just gone to waste, no longer there, and then trying to get just a bit of that pressure back, Boomhev goes in, hits everything to his credit, gets the kiss off and ults him back in, and then Circuit ult into the Fenrir ult. A pretty nasty combo, but he just doesn't die fast enough. Actually, right before he dies, is able to get the return kill on the Boomhev, and then Iron Snake able to pick up a kill immediately. But Boomhev showing a little bit of face on that purple. Props to him, even though he is 2 levels down, still not letting his foot off the gas pedal, which I think is exactly the mentality that you have to have. If you have an aggressive pick, you gotta stay aggressive no matter the state of the game most of the time, and showing face of the purple does get poked to half, doesn't end up getting it, but I do just like that mentality coming out from him, that no matter what, he's getting in there looking for those invades and looking for something that he can do across the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's always better to be doing something than nothing, right? Because maybe if you do something, it doesn't work out, but okay, but what if it does, right? And if you do nothing, then you're never gonna get something going. So, you know, I agree. It's nice that we do see him playing aggressive. But the gold lead actually evened out now, too.
Yeah, the KWM got that early gold lead mostly off of invades and just farming, getting more of that neutral farm with their early aggression, but now the Djungelskogs they have more kills, so the gold from the kills is allowing them to get back, and 15 minutes in, as you said, just about dead even. Pretty much just posed to get into a nice late game here. Nobody's really looking dominant coming into this, but a little bit of a lead on the supports, but not much more going on in the map. A 2-level lead on the Set, which I'm gonna be honest is pretty scary, because Set is one of those gods that snowballs really, really heavy from ahead, and Fenrir on the opposite side of that. Fenrir doesn't really feel good from behind. Fenrir feels amazing when ahead. That Brutalize kind of just full helps anybody in its path, but the second he starts getting behind, especially considering he has no defense in the build, Mr. House, 4 people on top of him. It is not looking good for him. That is the beats forced out and the ult, but he is waiting for disaster here.
But on the other hand, look at what Skogs is doing, which is a great call. Going to Goldfear. There is a Donza here, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he can safely get it, but he's gonna try. Does send the rocket, but nice body block by Wooper. Skogs to get the Gold Fairy, and honestly, that's a worthy trade. Good call there, Skogs.
I'm gonna go in here trying to get something here. Just keeping that aggression on Wooper. He's actually gonna get ulted. Beads forced. Not much more is gonna come of that. Yeah, that's just positive for the Skogs there. Nothing to say about it. I will also say on KW's end side, probably used a bit too many ults there. I think the Arthur was probably always dead there. The Fenrir and the Kukawal almost a little bit DM to do that, as they are going to engage, and Iron State gets deleted.
And here comes the big fight, though, and it's almost already over. KWM with 2 big picks going in. All ultimates are used. Got got a few relics as well. Wooper getting pressed on medical column, but he's taking so much damage from Phoenix and the tower. They can't get the kill. They gotta back off here. Unfortunately, with Gold Fury down though, they really, I guess, they can go pyro, but there's, you know, they don't get the big objective they want on this side of the map. But Skogs actually not letting up the chase. They are looking for a possible pivot, trying to stop him back. Holland is still close, but here comes Mr. House right on top of Fuzzy. Wooper is close behind, but he's a little low, so you've got to be careful. But now there's 4 against 2. I don't know if this was a call. Cool. Does hit it, actually kills Wooper. No way.
Only 2 targets to hit right there and absolutely smacks both of them. And this aggression is just keeping up. They are not letting up. This fight has been going on for about a century, and it shows no signs of stopping whatsoever as Mr. House is going to get poked out here.
Yeah, he does eat the Circuit. Being chased by the carries now. Don't know if they got enough damage to actually kill him. It is Arthur. He's got quite a few ways to get out, but boom, trying to get in, but does get stunned. Oh, my stream froze. Oh no. Okay, we're good. Chiron got the kill. I didn't see how it happened, but good for Chiron. But now, Cuckoo in a lot of trouble. Phoenix going for the kill. The tick damage is not gonna be enough. Cuckoo will make it out with no HP. What the heck? Phoenix, man, you need like 10 extra damage. That's all you need.
That's how feels bad. Bastende looking like he was in the single digits there. Absolutely 1 HP. A little bit unfortunate, but man, what a fight. That one just felt like it went on forever, and it's still not stopping as we have the coming in. A massive triple out. Not a ton's going to come off. The Ares all going in, going to pull 2. Beads are going to get forced out, but the set is in Kingslayer here. Looking to get aggressive.
Yeah, Pyromancer was taken by the Skog. Chiron comes out and does get the kill on the Fenrir, so he will live until the Billy death as well. Now it's just Boomhead maybe trying to get something, but oh, now there's 3 of them. Then comes the set. Oh, and Boom is super low, but here comes Dance's rocket right onto Duck. He's so close to dying. Will he get it? Fuzzy does get the kill. Oh, 3 for 1 trade. I don't know. This fight's been going for like 8 minutes. I didn't know we're playing arena whole, but looks like the fight will finally end.
That was an eternal fight. Every time I thought I had some time to speak in there, something just kept happening again. Man, that started over by the right side of the jungle, going on to Mr. House and Speedball, went to gold, went to T2, went to the other T2, and then all the way into Pyromancer, and kept on going. I'm not even sure what to break down there. So much happened right at the end there. Huge value off the Kingslayer, but more pressure going in as Iron Snake's just going to go in. He's attempting the 1v1, but the downside side of his 3 is going to deny him an absolute solo kill. Iron Snake was looking to get aggressive on that purple, but Private Fuzzy just throws down his 3 and says, nah, son, this is my jungle, this is my house. Gets the solo kill.
That was...
wow.
Unexpected to say the least. I don't think Skogs are happy with Snake's little play there, but I mean, look, I guess actually it's not a big deal. All that's up is right now is fire, and you know I don't think KWM is in a great spot to just easily take it. So it's not the biggest deal for him to die now. I mean, Goldfear's probably got like what, another minute left or so. So I think, well, I guess if he's gonna go for a play like that, now's the time. So.
I think Iron Snake, he was just going for the vibe check right there. He's like, hey man, you hitting your autos today? Let's find out. Dashes in and Private Fuzzy passed the vibe check. My man hit every auto and just showed him that trying to fight Donza while he's inside of his 3, not really the best idea. Most of the time is he just gets to juke around for free with the haste that he gets inside of that, and hard to hit. Not hard for him to hit, so
yeah,
definitely feeling good. But I mean, with all this fighting going on, looking at the gold charts again, so much is happening. Yet, they just returning aggression with aggression. That's pretty much been the entire state of the game. Every time it looks like one person's going to go in and go for the aggressive play, they just return it with an equal amount of aggression. But Djungelskogs is going to get that gold fury pretty much for free. Not a point. That's just.
Yeah, Mr. House is trying to zone off some members, but actually does get out alive, but Phoenix doesn't. Cuckoo ult does come in. It looks like, I'm assuming connected. Boomhead also falls 1 for 1 trade. Make that 2 for 1. Make that 2 for 2. Stop killing each other for 1 second, please. Cuckoo being chained off here. Duck's got to be careful as he is kind of low on the health bar. You know, Cuckoo kind of hiding a tornado, but getting shredded by the Aries, but nice steal here from Fuzzy, but now the streak is too Cuckoo. He's gotta go help his teammates. Maybe Whooper super low. The shades come out again. This is a second Fuzzy in a bad situation, but Token Billy will get a kill onto Whooper. Fuzzy autoing away, but Duck tries to pick up the Cuckoo. Saw his low health bar and was like, I need it, but doesn't.
Absolutely deleted there. That Donza one putting in some work. He went into the Kingslayer, got him 1 HP, but the Aegis really, really nice. Unfortunate by Private Fuzzy there. I won't go too deep into that one. A little bit of a misclick, that's alright. But yeah, just absolutely obliterates. And as you said during the middle of that fight, you pretty much summed it up. Everything was happening. There was like 3 different fights going on, and instantaneously though, KWM not going to hesitate. They're just going straight for this FG. Djungelskogs have been getting pretty much every single gold period, but Mr. House is going to spot it out here, but it is half HP. They're going to be rotating as fast as they possibly can here, but that's just an FG for them.
Yeah, and KDO do secure. Can't out secure that Cuckoo ult. Maybe it's like a solo ult, but there's no still on the forward, and now 2 members of Scotch fall trying to stop it, but Sam comes in, gets the kill and boom, but I mean, that's all you're gonna get, buddy. Come on. I mean, you got it off the support, great, but that's probably the one person that doesn't need it the most. I mean, that him is solo.
Shot caller on KWM though. They got some good pressure off of that gold fury. Scott could have gotten the gold fury. The fight was just over, and they're just like, hey, what if we just do fire right now? Throws a sentry ward on it, see that there's no vision, and by the time that Mr. House comes around to see it, he's alone, and it's pretty much dead.
Yeah, so this game has been all over the place. And KWM won the early, Scott kind of won the mid. Now we're getting towards the late, and well, look who's got it again. KWM now prestiging this Phoenix, and I don't believe there's anything Skogs can do. KWM will get that one for free. Probably gonna go get the towers now, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this
3
game
dead on the side of the
switched.
Skogs. Yeah, this has been wild. This has definitely been back and forth. As I said, aggression's just been the name of the game. They've been constantly making these plays all over the map. Anytime one person surges forward to go do something, the team instantly responds with their own. And KWM in a really good spot. I was saying, obviously in the early game, that I was thinking that the late game comp from Djungelskogs was just better, but they are just playing this comp so well on KWM. They're getting so much use out of these CC ultimates from the Circuit and from the Fenrir here, and a massive props to Destende. He has been hitting insane Cuckoo ults this game. Absolutely just obliterating any front line, and a couple of times even hitting the back line. Just destroying them, and Private Fuzzy as well has just had a standout game so far. He has been rocketing in and one-shotting all game. As you said right in the beginning, you can get a really good use out of that ultimate, just weaving for the jungle and blasting someone, and that's exactly what he's been doing. He has been finding good priority picks inside of these team fights and just one-shotting them with the pressure that Donza can bring. Donza feels fantastic from ahead. He is one of those gods that, once again, from behind, he feels kind of awful because you're doing all the CC and nothing happens, but this is exactly what happens from Donza when he's ahead. He's got his crit online. If he hits you with any form of CC and you don't have your beats to get out of it, you're just going to get critted and die. But we see a 5-man grouping on the right side just whittling down these towers while they still have their FG active. And not much the Djungelskogs are going to be able to do about this one. They're pretty much going to forfeit it. I do wonder here if they're going to look to go to the left side here and get this T2, or they're going to siege the Phoenix, but they are going to take the safer thing here, clear up this wave in mid, and just go over. Classic cleanup at this point. You have the FG, you have the advantage, just get all the lingering towers, get all that gold in your pocket. As they say often, the first FG is mostly just a setup to get the second FG, but getting the mid Phoenix on top of that is going to look really, really good, and KWM just in a fantastic spot here. As you can see, the gold disparity not that long ago was just about even, but now it's significantly in the favor of KWM. They're going to get a ton of gold in their pockets, and they're going to be looking really, really good come this next FG fight, and they might be able to just pick up this gold fury as well, but these guys showing a bit of face, but they don't want to get too aggressive here, take a fight into the team with FG, and that's going to be Primal as well. That is so much value that they've gotten out of this Fire Giant, let me tell you. I don't know how many towers they've gotten, but at least they've gotten 2 T2s. Shout out to the Thunder in the back of my house
Yeah.
that just trying to ruin my cast here. I see.
It's a well. If it makes you feel better, I didn't hear it, so I think you're good. Maybe it's your birthday, Thunder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just me summoning my power of Zeus that I get once every birthday.
So, but I mean, yeah, that was a massive, push there from the KWM. 3 towers, a Phoenix, and a Fury. Now, great position to set up for this next one. I mean, mid lane is kind of pushed up by the Skogs a bit, so they have a little bit of time, to maybe try to contest this. But they got to be careful. I mean, that Kuku ult's they can't out-secure the Kuku ult as long as Basenda. But he did last time, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem. So it's gonna be interesting how Skogs will approach this, especially with how slippery this Cuckoo's been. Like he's been like 2 HP like in almost every fight.
Yeah, if I'm the Djungelskogs, I'm definitely just looking for a pick at this point because you definitely have to get something here. Because as I said, you're never. Spirit of the Nine Winds does way too much damage, especially because on the back foot of everything they managed to accomplish off of that FG, that is so much gold. So when they just got their back off, they got the gold from a Phoenix, multiple towers, a gold Fury. They came back and just look at the items over on the left side. They have so much items and things online right now that they're looking really, really good in this team fight. I think the Djungelskogs at this point definitely just have to look for a pick here if they're able to get something at the beginning, especially because the one problem that is with both Don Zabora and Kukulkan is they're very susceptible to the dive. Don Zabora, if he can manage to get into that ult, definitely looks really, really hard to kill as he can just go across the map, but you can kind of just eat it as there is going to be an engagement on the left side here.
Massive Kukulkan player on the back line in this Raquel, but Duck trying to do something, but doesn't get really much. Actually, Mr. House does get fuzzy. That's a huge, huge pick to get. Shuts down the Danza. Aries all comes up, but doesn't pull anybody. Beats and stuff was used. Down goes Token Billy. This fight's just turned around. What happened, KWM? That's 3 dead. Oh no, Basende though, of course, the Slippery Noodle's still alive. Have gonna get out of there now. Skogs got all the pressure. What on earth happened?
That was just, they committed a lot on top of the set there. They dumped multiple ultimates and just did everything to get there, and Mr. House just tore up the backline in the meantime. Fantastic by him. Basende actually uses ult to try to hit Mr. House, but he uses King Arthur ult to go up into the air, absolutely immune. Yeah, KWM was just looking for a pick on the set, and they found it, but it was, it costed everything at that point. They dumped so many things to get him, and the Djungelskogs on the backline there just shred through the backline. Mr. House does a ton of damage by the time the rest of his team goes up.
Basende gets a kill in the fight, right? This man is he's gonna die for it, but you know what? Who cares? That was amazing. He killed the carry and he stole the fire. Now, and Fuzzy actually ended up spawning in time to get the fire giant buff himself. So now Boom and Fuzzy will have it.
Play
Oh my goodness.
by both Boomhev and Basende there. Getting that FG steal, that is insane. The Djungelskogs were looking so prime there after that team fight to get that EFG, but man, what an absolute legend right there coming into play. Basende able to get a kill and steal the FG. They're able to get the kill onto Basende after, but Boomhev just walks in and kills Iron Snake for killing him as well. That's just, talk about making good light of a bad situation. That probably couldn't have gone better for them, no matter what. They just came off of a really nasty team fight loss, and now they're in the lead again. Just like that. They are the ones that the Djungelskogs got to be scared of. They're up about 8k gold right now, and they have FG on their support, on their dual lane. Like, now Don Zabora's has the FG buff. He's plenty able to siege right now, and man, that has got to be a heartbreaker. Honestly, if I'm the Djungelskogs right now, I'm just trying to keep my mental. That is heartbreaking for them. That is a big loss. I think that comes into play a lot more than people realize, like how the players are feeling after stuff happens, and the Djungelskogs can't be feeling good.
Yeah, it's definitely a
After
skill.
that one.
It's definitely a skill to not tilt after such, such a good play for KWM, but a bad play for Skogs, right? Like that it's hard to kind of let that happen and try to also stay composed. But Skogs are still in it. It's a little tough. Like, luckily, only 2 members do have the EFG, so sieging's gonna be a little harder. But of course, one of them is Fuzzy, so when he does hit that Phoenix, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
So,
the Djungelskogs just not. This is scary for the Skogs, no doubt. Getting that Oni Fury definitely feels fantastic, and this is just going to be a standard siege. Obviously, going for the left Phoenix, best Phoenix to get in the game, and this is looking really, really good for KWM. If they're able to either get this Phoenix or get a pick, it's pretty much going to be GG's. This is all or nothing for the Djungelskogs at this point. They're going to have to mount a really good defense here.
Oh yeah. Now, unfortunately, though, their defense isn't the greatest. They are more of a siege comp, in my opinion. I mean, the Agni bombs are gonna be really nice, but once they're really gone, they don't got much that's like really good, strong on the defensive side.
Absolutely, Set's a god that feels fantastic while sieging, but he feels fantastic to engage with and not to engage on. But he's the one getting engaged, as you can see here. The ball and going in along the boomhead.
Oh no, Duck trying to get something on the backline, but just get shredded. He ain't getting anything off now. Full commit onto the Phoenix. Mr. House is stopping Fuzzy from getting some damage on. Great ultimate to at least prolong the Phoenix. And it actually might work as Billy's taking a lot of Phoenix poke. But they're going back in for more, but no one's really getting much damage on the bird. Whooper does get a nice ultimate, but there goes 2 ults to stop the ult from happening. But Mr. House gets a kill on the token. Billy, Kenny, on the siege, it's not working out. What happened? Again, no, boom out, that's Thor picks. 60-second timer, speed set is the only one that's left. No ultimate, they can't catch him.
That is insane. What, man, that's the last 2 big team fights. That's exactly how they go. They start, the set goes hard and engages. They dump a lot into him, and then honestly, I'm just going to go, the game's not even over. I'm just going to give a huge props to Mr. House. He has been playing insane this game. As you said, they weren't able to get the Phoenix because Mr. House brings him into the air, and they just don't have any DPS on Phoenix, so the Phoenix is just sitting there shooting on top of everybody. They can't do much about it. Whooper gets a great ultimate and forces out, I believe, like 2 ults and a beads, and they're just in prime position to get taken over at that point, and then after that, that's just a collapse by Phoenix and Iron Snake doing backline things, doing a ton of damage. Basende here, just gonna die. Nothing he could do about that one. Whole team's up, he's just getting the KA experience right there.
Yeah, well,
absolutely ran down. But man, this has been so back and forth, just constant punch for punch here. Huge props to both teams. Anytime one of them gets knocked down, they just get right back up and start swinging again. Fantastic defense by the Skogs. It's just going to lead to now they have the left Phoenix, as I said, best Phoenix in the game, because somebody's going to have to deal with those fire waves while FG's up. But this is an EFG. I mean, if whoever gets EFG here is just primed to look to win this game. I mean, EFG is just that powerful. Luca's going to get an ultimate here, force out the beads.
Oh, nope, no steal now. The Scots do finally secure the fight for themselves. Token Bailey gonna fall. I mean, I would 100% respect the fact that they try to steal it, because you can't just let them have it.
EFG's too strong. I like the call, honestly, at that point. Like, nobody's really, you're the only people that are primed to do there, and if you just let them get EFG, you're taking a 5-on-5 fight when they have EFG into a comp that we were just saying is so good at sieging, but they're just going to go straight for this Phoenix here. Not a ton they can do about it. At this point, they're just trying not to lose the game. That's 5 people as EFG, 2 Phoenixes down. They're just going to dot their I's and cross their T's at this point, as they're just going to get the mid T2 and look for the mid Phoenix here. But I like this play on from Idrox here, just looking to pick out Whooper, and that's going to be 1 person down on the EFG. Fantastic. Just a little bit of a pathing mistake by Whooper. He was a little bit away from everybody else, so Hydrox punishes him with that great Fenrir ult, but the team fight is still going on.
I'm gonna say that's not stopping the Skogs from doing this again, but boom, gets the ult off onto Mr. House. Down he goes, but Duck getting fuzzy down, and Phoenix bombing the Fenrir. 2 for 2 trades so far. This bird is down. All 3 Phoenixes are now officially down. And KWM does get a kill on the Phoenix, but instead gets a kill on the Boom, and now Beast Sundays taking his ult shot. Here comes some masterful shot, but not enough damage. But it will be flicking through the door. Oh no, this is it. This is it. They got all 3 Phoenixes. They might be able to do this. They got fire minions.
This is GG's. When all 3 Phoenixes are down like this, the Titan is made out of paper. It is going to get shredded. Token Billy's going to try his best. Not much he can do.
Oh my goodness.
A game. Man, you cannot ask for much better than that. That was back and forth, constant action off from both ends. Just pure aggression on both sides here. Constant fighting and plays being made. I can't even... How many times were KWM looking like they were going to win the game? How many times were the Skogs looking like they were going to win the game? I mean, it was just constant massive leads and then miracle plays coming off from both sides here. But KWM, in the end, is going to be able to pick up that game. Man,
wow,
once again, I just got to give another shout out to my man, Mr. House. He was doing so much of that game, just going in the back line, causing chaos. And Chiron and Agni in the late game do Chiron and Agni things. They just started pumping out numbers all of a sudden. Man, that was what a game.
I agree. That was intense. I need to go get some water before we start the next one, just because my throat is was not ready to be screaming like that for every dang fight like that. But holy moly! But yeah, I agree. Mr. House, honestly, all 4 tanks, in my opinion, I think played extremely well. But I think Mr. House changed that siege completely on the left side. I mean, both Whooper and Mr. House, I'm gonna give credit both because, like you mentioned before, Ares pulling off 2 ultimates in a beads, forcing them to use it, and they didn't get anything off of it. I think the rocket hit 1 person, but like that didn't matter because they died. And then Mr. House just hard focusing Fozzie, making sure he will not shred this bird. He knew he's got the FG. He knew he had to do what he did, and he did it excellently. Honestly, both teams played extremely well. I think there were just some misplays that happened throughout the game that really caused like those shifts. But I'm excited for game 2, man. This set. If it's gonna be the end of game 1, I'm 100% ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see what kind of adjustments they made. Like, that game was just one off of a fantastic defense on top of that Phoenix on the left side. They go up for the siege, and once again, Mr. House and Whooper make a power play, and then Phoenix and Iron Snake able to dump out that DPS, and from there, they get the left Phoenix. EFG is pretty much free, not much they can do to defense, and it's just cleanup from that point on.
All right, give me one moment. I'm gonna go get me some water so my throat doesn't die, and I'll be right back.
Absolutely. I apologize to anybody that's been in chat. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the chat open, so I'm sorry if anybody's been trying to message at me. But yeah, what a game. Can't be upset about that one. That constant action from the beginning all the way to the end. If you'd be able, can you throw on the builds real quick? Or go to the scoreboard. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, standard builds throughout, honestly, not too much surprise to see there. One thing that you could definitely see come online that game was the set getting his Boomba's hammer. As soon as he hit level 20, he was looking much, much more effective than he was in the rest of that game. Absolutely just getting a ton of value out of that. The cooldown resets were just massive throughout the entirety, and then Agni getting that late game soul gem and upgrading his starter makes him do just so much more damage, and he started bombing everybody for a ridiculous amount of health. Man, that last team fight was crazy. Started off great too. Hydrox found a fantastic Fenrir ult onto Whooper and picks him off immediately, but it's 4 people with EFG, just not much you can do in a team fight against that. They were able to close it out and get the W on that. That was a good one. Nothing to be upset about there. Definitely,
Right,
that Cuckoo Khan though. Normally, when you see a loss when you have Cuckoo Khan in the game, it's because Cuckoo Khan just gets dove and can't really be effective. But I was impressed with the way Bastende played that game. On the Cuckoo Khan, my man, he was hitting some massive ultimates, seeing some huge tornadoes. Obviously, unfortunately, doesn't fully work out in the end, but definitely good play off of him, no doubt. Especially that FG steal coming in was absolutely amazing. Just a overall just a slapper of a set. But now that you're back, VV, what is there any adjustments that you're looking to see coming in the game too? By
Oh,
either team?
it's hard because like both teams really played so well, but also made such also just had such terrible fights. So it's like, what do you change? To be honest, I heard you talk about the Cuckoo. I agree. Usually the Cuckoo is the reason why you lose if you have a Cuckoo. But I don't think that was the case. I think Bastende lived pretty much almost every dive that happened, and they got that awesome hit almost got that awesome FG seal. I don't think the Cuckoo's a problem.
No,
To me,
absolutely not.
I feel like the only big problem I saw was maybe with KWM's draft. It was super aggressive, right? But it was also super single targety. Serket, Fenrir. I would like to see maybe a bit more. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but a bit more, not just so single target focus.
Yeah,
because
grouping, team fighting. That's actually legitimately exactly what I was about to bring up there. The team fight on the side of KWM was it was a little hard to win because, like, as you said with that single target, almost every single fight from KWM started with some sort of pick. For the first two big team fights, it was the set getting picked off immediately, and that last team fight with the EFG, Whooper was the one to get picked off. But the problem is, you dump Fenrir ult, you dump Serket ult, and those are just single target gods, and you get your pick. But what do you do after that? Your single target's down now. Everything's on cooldowns. Your ultimates are down, and there's just not a ton you can do. And that's exactly when the Skogs came in and just start winning the fights, because now everything's down, and you're just gonna get Agni bombed. You're just gonna have King Arthur running around spinning the winning on you. I definitely think if I was the KWM's in this draft, I would look for a little bit more team fight elements. They played the comp very, very well, to their credit. They were finding some really nice picks. They did get that early aggression off, but when you invest too much in just killing one person, then the rest of the team fight can go south. And I don't think it's bad to have a single target lockdown. Like, I think either Fenrir or Serket are fantastic gods to have, but it's when you put both of those together and that's essentially your front line that it becomes really, really hard to get a ton out of team fights at a certain stage of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, with Mr. House, with his incredible play of just diving the backline, with how aggressive the team comp was for KWM, there wasn't much that they could do. I mean, there was a couple times there, maybe the Fenrir ulted, but then then Fenrir isn't gonna get a pick. It's just how they do he's ulting the peel. Like, I don't know.
That is another thing. Is Serket fantastic on the aggression. Absolutely can get in there and support, and it's great for picks. It's great to get in there, cause chaos in the backline, but not really the best peel god. The backline on Kittens with Mittens were a little bit left on an island, and to their credit, they weren't really dying all that much for a backline that was mostly by themselves, but that's just the way it is when you have Kukal and Fenrir and Serket diving. What is the backline supposed to do? There's not really much effectiveness they can get out of the fight. They're just trying to live, and most of the time they did live, but just living isn't enough to win fights. Most of the time, you're gonna have to be able to bump out a ton of that damage, and unfortunately, they just weren't able to find it most of the time because that King Arthur was just rampaging on top of them with nobody to help peel them off. King Arthur just shreds through them like nothing.
So for me personally, looking at the Skogs now, I would like to see more a prioritization towards that King Arthur again. I think he played that extremely well. And to be honest, I think the Ares, I would maybe like to see that run back. I think Whooper played that extremely well. I think usually Ares is pretty hit or miss when you pick him, right? Like it's just sometimes you get
Oh,
a
yeah,
more
absolutely.
played it fantastically. Unless the comp that Kid even drafts kind of makes sure Aries doesn't get to play a game. Maybe then not. But speaking of comps, here we go. Into picks and bans for game number 2. Skogs up 1-0 against the KWM. Let's see. Is there any like draft, like maybe ban or like prioritization picks we would like to see different here?
If I'm Kittens with Mittens, I'm probably looking to either pick or ban that King Arthur. Honestly, I saw a ton of value out of that. King Arthur might have just got nerfed, but King Arthur's King Arthur. He's still so strong. He causes so much chaos. Overall, in terms of the bans, I most of the bans were fine. They just got rid of the big meta picks. I don't think there's anything on Djungelskogs that was like severely just diffing them. It was mostly just a team effort on their end. So if I'm Kittens with Mittens, I think it's more looking to pick up certain gods and less about looking to ban away or get away certain gods from the enemy.
Well, looks like. Well, that's weird. I heard the ban sound, but I didn't see the second ban come in from Skogs. Maybe it was a mistake. But yeah, looking like so far, there it is. Looking like so far, we same picks. Sorry,
Running
same
it back.
ban. Yeah,
Yep,
I mean,
running it back so far, exact same thing.
I don't know how I feel about the Athena being banned. I think Athena's good. Like, I think she's fine, but I think she's getting a lot of prioritization here in the set. And I'm kind of surprised to see her banned first. I feel like they could have put King Arthur there or put someone else. Maybe the set, set I think did great at diving, but I think he kind of just got blown up in the late game. I think he didn't really get much value in some of those fights. But no, exact same bans, both sides. Is it good calling right back? Ooh,
a hover on your Moja.
it's
An
locked in.
insta-lock on the Moja. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I love Umoja, and I think Umoja's fantastic, but correct me if I'm wrong here, was it even banned last game at all?
Nope.
So I completely understand wanting to get that Umoja on the field, but I don't know if you necessarily have to first pick it when the Djungelskogs clearly just weren't putting that much value on it. They weren't putting a ban on it, unless they were worried about the Djungelskogs picking it. I love the pick. I'm just a bit confused to see it in that first pick. I think Arthur would have been a great choice, and if I'm the Djungelskogs here, I'm looking to get the Arthur back, honestly. And they hover it, and yeah, lock it in. I think that's just a misplay by KWM. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Umoja was getting banned or picked in the top 2 on the enemy team. They probably could have saved that for a later pick.
I think that would have been
out of Kittens with Mint, or out of the Djungelskogs, to be honest.
I think M should have been second or third pick. I agree, 100%. I don't think Skogs were going to pick it. I don't think, obviously, I don't know. So second, third pick would work because there was a small chance they might have banned it in the second phase. They didn't last game, but you never know. They banned Sobek, I believe, in the second phase last time. But wow, Arthur, Honor, interested in not being picked up. Honor's fine, but Honor surprisingly was super dominant, and then got a small nerf to the ult, and then nobody played him anymore. He kind of just like vanished. How do you feel about Honor?
I think Honor was really strong. I do think it was a bit of an overreaction for people to just stop playing him. I feel like maybe it wasn't necessarily so much as people thought Honor was bad, but there's oftentimes in Smite, especially in like SPL, when people kind of just forget about gods. They just don't play them for a while. And I think Chiron and Soul were those 2 gods where people just didn't play them for a long time and they forgot about them. All of a sudden they came into the meta and everyone's like, wow, Chiron and Soul are so strong. Why don't we just pick these gods instead? And Anhur kind of just fell to the wayside from that. But not having the ultimate up definitely does hurt him a little bit, especially because he relied a lot on the CC immunity from that ult. But Anhur is just kind of an Iron Snake classic. My man Elrond slam locked Anhur like 90% of the sets he played last season, so a very, very standard pick for him. Definitely some comfort on the side. I think Anhur into Heimdall particularly is a pretty good matchup. If you're able to Anhur ult the Heimdall ult, then Heimdall just gets obliterated. You get the CC immunity off, and you just are barrel stuffing him with Anhur ult. Also, it's really hard for Heimdall to take those portals when Anhur just twos him away from him and just impales him into a wall. But we see Jing Ten on the other side. I think a very, very solid support pick right now. He's kind of been seeing a rise lately, and I'm all for it. I think Jing Ten provides a lot. His sustain and his passive makes him pretty much able to just stay on the map always. Even if he gets poked out in a team fight, he can kind of just walk back, reset a little bit, get his HP back, and go back in. And he has a very similar effect to the Djungelskogs as the Ares did in terms of just getting a big ultimate and pulling everybody onto their team. He played well with his Ares ultimates, assuming that he can get the same amount of value off of the Jing Ten ultimates. Should be feeling good for them. But on the ban side here, we are going to see a Fenrir ban on the sides of Kittens with Mittens. Fenrir strong right now, and definitely has some flexibility. So I think that not a bad ban on that part. You see Merlin and Scylla on the other hand. Those are some of the mids that kind of fell to the wayside, I guess, in the more recent developments. I think they're still definitely strong and maybe just a bit of targetization because not sure the last time I've really seen a ton of people picking up Merlin, but covering the Raijin, back on Scylla and Giannis. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say this is just a guy we've been seeing a bit more. He's kind of the one that's kind of risen up with Tiamat and Soul as kind of being like a top mid laner. Surprised to see him not banned away here by Kittens domains, but I see they're going for more jungle bans. But I think it works really well with what Skogs have drafted so far too.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Phoenix played this a lot last season, if I don't remember. I think for Phoenix and Iron Snake, these are just two very comfortable picks. They played this a lot in the last season, and it's just, if it worked in the past, I mean, they won the championship last season, if it ain't broke, fix it, so.
Ooh.
There you go, Discordia and a Wheelix locked in. Okay. Interesting here. Okay, Discordia is a god that's just never bad. I don't know if I've ever seen Discordia be dominant. I don't think it's like everyone wants to pick Discordia here, but that Strife is going to do a lot. And Dodgy, I really like this lock in here. I think Dodgy is a bit slept on right now after the Shell. Like, Dodgy was out of the game for a while because Shell existed. You couldn't play Dodgy. The god just was terrible. Shell just made it not a god. But now that Shell is just completely on the wayside and just not a good relic, Dodgy should see a rise here. And on his end there, there's how many CC immune alts do they have there? I believe the Heimdall and Osiris. And is Disco alt CC immune when she's channeling that?
I believe so.
All right, but still, I mean, there's targets he can pull there, and at the very worst, it's a beads burner. And in the chat here, Skillsy saying Disco giving Osiris more pressure in lane. Absolutely. Big thing about Discordia in general is going to be that passive. Whoever gets it, feeling really, really good always. So definitely agree with that. That is one thing that is good for Discordia. If you have a person that you're looking to hyper carry that game, that passive is going to feel really, really good on them. So, and also I feel the same thing it comes for a Wheelix. If a Wheelix is able to get these early game ganks off and he gets the Disco passive, a Wheelix Feather Step early game already pretty much feels like it one-shots. If you've ever been a backliner getting blinked on by a Wheelix, you feel like you just die when a Wheelix gets on you. That Feather Step pretty much just does your entire health bar in the beginning of the game. And, yeah, I mean, I do like the switch-ups to KWM. This is a much more team-based draft, especially off of that Umoja. Much, much better for the team fights than the Circuit, no doubt about it. Circuit, obviously the single target lockdown, going to provide a ton more peel and a ton more team fight presence through the healing and the stuns and obviously the big ultimate that comes out. Hemdalier as well, feeling fantastic most of the time. I think Heimdall is one of those gods to where if you're good at Heimdall, he feels almost unstoppable. He feels mostly unkillable. If you're really, really good at that portal placement and using your relics around the timers off of your 3, you just can't die. Worst case scenario, you beads and portal out, and you're pretty much always living. And then obviously his passive, making his auto attacks just straight up do more damage than the rest of the cast. Late game, he hurts really, really bad. I think the one problem that he does have as a god is that early game can feel a little bit lackluster, not doing a ton of damage, and the autos are really, really slow. So if I'm on the sides of the Skogs, I'm probably looking to get a little bit of pressure in dual lane to stop that Heimdall from getting the late game so fast.
So, I wanted to ask this last game, but then of course everything got crazy. But solo lane, so you know about the fighter's mask start, right? Basically, that's been a popular start. We haven't seen the last game. We haven't seen this game. And Osiris is definitely one of the gods that we see it a lot on. How do you prefer the Bluestone, or do you prefer the mask yourself?
I'm actually more of a mask guy. I think on King Arthur you need Bluestone anyway, just because you straight up have more abilities, more chances to proc Bluestone. But when on Osiris particularly, I absolutely love the fighter's mask. Not necessarily even because, like, the fighter mask is obviously great in lane to get that extra power. I just think Osiris does fantastic with Boomba's hammers late game. I think Osiris with Boomba's feels insanely oppressive to go against. If you ever get in a late game against it, he is just constantly throwing out abilities. He already has low cooldown. He's getting true damage off of the proc on it. So I mostly just like the fighter's mask so that you can forego a starter and just get Boomba's late game and not have to worry about it. But Bluestone never going to be bad. Once again, I just said he has low cooldowns, which means that he gets more and more procs off of that Bluestone, and it feels great.
Stay alert.
Also, when looking at starts, we see a Death's Toll on Heim, and then the Gilded Arrow on Honor. I feel like both these relics, or sorry, not relics, both these starters kind of barely getting any playtime, but we're seeing both of them in the same game. ADC is kind of the role I don't like the most, so I don't know the most about it. But how do you feel about both of these starter item pickups?
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, I like them both. We're getting a little bit of the blast to the past with Iron Snake's build here, just going back to the standard farm. You can never really go wrong with Gilded Arrow, because yeah, it got some nerfs or whatever. It's free gold. Yeah. Especially in ADC where you just want to farm up and get to late. I can't tell you the amount of times in the recent meta that I've played a couple of ADC mains. It's not my main role, but I do like to dabble every now and again. And anytime I play a starter that's not that, I can go up 2 kills, feel like I'm on top of the world. I look at the chart and I'm up like 200 gold.
I am invincible.
Oh no!
But he's not going to be able to get it.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, rip Billy, but no, Billy lives and almost killed Mr. House as well, too.
It's not a terrible gank, just because Mr. House probably dies if Dodge doesn't show face there, but a little bit unfortunate that Dodgy's not able to get the pick. But I'm gonna just keep on ranting again about the ADC builds, and Heimdall on the other side. Once again, I like it. I don't think the Heimdall's okay on blue, which is obviously, or on Bluestone, which was a premier start, but he doesn't really do that good on it. I mean, it's, you know, it's fine. You can go Bluestone on Heim, but you might as well just get that. And I believe, yeah, Heimdall just is really, really good with Death Soul in general. He just gets a lot of healing and staying off of that. It feels really good on him, allows him to get his Transcendence online. I think both of the starts are fine here. I don't have a problem with either of them, and I'm thinking that both of them will probably turn out pretty well here. I'm kind of almost excited to see Devourer's Gauntlet back. It's been a long time since I've seen that item get built. The Transcendence has been so prominent after the cost reduction that, you know, seeing that lifesteal go out again, a little nostalgic in a sense.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially since, I mean, coming Tuesday, we won't have boots, so, and Transcendence is getting that revert, so is it going to be Trans? Is it going to be Dev Gloves we're going to see build? Or maybe both? Maybe people are going to start double stacking? Who knows? But
I don't know. All I know is that boots change, ADCs are going to be looking a little scary here.
Double stacking.
They're not going to get punished for building those stacking items, so.
Double stacking with crit.
Oh, stop it. Get out of here. Go back to spectator. don't put that awful thought in my head. But another gank attempt over here. Does foresee Lord of the Afterlife, but Dodgy does go after the pillars.
Oh no! Slightly too far away. And they're showing a lot of presence in the solo lane, but Token and Billy doing a fantastic job just living, getting so much prioritization in his lane. I mean, when you're getting camped that much in solo, the best you can do is live, and that's exactly what he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Skogs are looking for a blue buff invade on this upcoming blue timer, just how much pressure they've been putting on it. But it looks like Duck's just gonna go out for the back camps, and a lot of people in chat are talking about
The way
the
opens.
Helix pick, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna kind of have to agree. I think the Helix is more of just a reaction to On Her. I feel like that's a pretty classic counter pick on that end. Is just you see the On Her, you're like, ooh, On Her, big leap, can't miss ult on that. So you ult it, but I do think in general that I guess I just don't like it. Yep, there it is. It's a leap into the beast, but the Immortal ult is actually going to lock in really, really well. Triple rotation, and I believe a double ult, triple ult. Yeah, 3 ults dumped, but they get the ADC, so you know, can't really be upset about that. Great Rivers Rebuke though, shuts out On Her after the leap. He's just hot in there, nothing you can do about that. Eats all of those ults, and he is going to fall. But Mr. House doing the standard Arthur thing there. Arthur vs Osiris is a matchup that I've personally played a lot, and yeah, he's doing exactly what you need to do. Anytime Osiris hits you with that tether, just bring him up in the air. Can't get stunned while you're in Arthur ult, so might as well bring him up, getting some good pressure there, but just gonna get it back off. Classic solo lane thing, big ol' slap fest. Nobody's really that close to dying, topping the damage charts. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's solo. They just kind of like whack each other for like 10 minutes and then.
Whack each other for till late game, and then until someone will make a rotation eventually, do whatever. But we are gonna see the Whirlwind of Real Estate or Wind and Steel fucking get to.
Oh, but Boom taking so much damage. Here comes the power out. Does get the chain off, and the Raijin also will make it. Where Boom have just as it got. No, he followed the.
Okay, he does pick off the kill on the back end.
Big strife from
Huge Strife is gonna do a ton of damage. Drox is just gonna walk up and kill him.
Yeah, Phoenix is gonna fall off. Oh, Strife, that was beautiful. Doug does live.
Strife. Also, my heart after that. He didn't want to drop in because he didn't want to get punished. He was hoping that the powwow would just kill, and unfortunately doesn't quite do it, but he is able to walk up and pick it off the back end. That was a great job. Wooper's playing this set really, really well. I mean, he just gets double beads right out the beginning. Once again, look at the left side, 5 beads. Nothing much more to say about that. But Duck is actually going to get pressured.
Yeah, Duck is now in the best spot, but Wooper coming in with some nice peel, making sure Duck has got a little bit, but Duck actually goes back in, forces Felix onto Suku. Rivers Rebuke. Yeah, nice little trap, and now Duck's in a... But no, the 1,000 kill! Actually might save him with the mitigations. Nope, Boom's gonna secure the kill. I'm sorry, I lied to y'all. But 1 kill here for KWM, and kind of a back and forth game again. I mean, only 700 gold right now. Different pace from last time. Last time KWM had an amazing start, but now they just have a solid start. But it's good if they keep up this pace. They're gonna be in a great spot.
Ooh, but
that ain't gonna help him.
But Iron Snake on the other side there got soloed last game. My man had to get his pride back. He's like, all right, I'll give you that one. You got me in the last one. I'm gonna take it this time. Goes up, gets the solo kill. You love to see that. That's what you want to be doing. It's on her. As I said, Heimdall in that early game doesn't look great. But actually, what I'm surprised about here, Heimdall says trans. Never heard of it. Going straight into the dominance.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it makes the early game a little bit better, right? But Trans is just so cheap right now. I can't say why you don't build it, but I'm also not an ADC main. I could 100% be in the wrong. Personally I think Trans is the play, but we'll see how the value or how the value does as we get into the late thing. But I do like to see that from Iron Snake. You are on her. You do have all that pressure, so you might as well utilize it. Go in and just go for those fights there. You really want your on her head. That god feels super oppressive and amazing, but he's going to get a nice pillar. Everybody's actually rotating in. Boomhead is a bit caught out. His team's not there to help him. There's nothing he can do. He's going to use the River's Rebuke in an attempt to peel for himself, but not much is going to happen. He's going to get picked out.
Willich does use the ult and does get beads, but sadly nothing else. Boom just kind of dies. I mean, they get the purple buff, but that's it worth dying for? I don't know.
No, not really, especially considering the Skogs just got their purple. I think it was a good play at first. I think everybody just ran away a little too fast. Maybe the Boomhead there just had to spam his 3 to get out of there. I don't think they quite expected as much of a rotation as the Skogs made over to that, but good response by the Skogs. They see their purple getting invaded, and Iron Snake's like, hey, I just soloed my laner, and everybody's over here. Can we, like, kill these guys or something? And that's exactly what they do. They just walk up and go and get them, so.
Stay alert.
You know, this one, I feel like this wheel really hasn't gotten much. Oh, Fuzzy actually living it. Does get the ult off. He dies though. We'll have to see. Oh, but he dies to minions. Oh no! Fuzzy, no buddy. And Snake lives too, and that's the worst part. I was gonna set it up there to get it, but Boomhead comes over trying to make sure that's it for free. Nice basic.
Boomhead tries.
If I can still walk, that means I can still fight.
But he gets a minion diff. A great Heimdall ult. I mean, Iron Snake doesn't beats, and or maybe it wasn't up at the time. I'm not sure. It's possible it could have come up, but regardless, he gets put. He gets put in the air. Ooh, Osiris gonna go in a little off the mark on the 2, but to be fair, it's Tank Boots Arthur. I don't think he dies from that 2 anyway. But another solo lane gank. They are relentless on the solo lane, but it's going to force out the beads. But the rotation coming in from the rest of KWN, River's Butte comes out, cutting off the jungle pathing, but they have a whole lane they can take away, so that's exactly what they're going to do. It's a 4-man grouping over on this right side. I don't think too much is going to come of it. The KWN knows they have the numbers advantage, so they are just going to walk off. It's good to get the beads off of the Osiris, and his ult is also down, but it's a level 12 Osiris with tank boots. Gonna be really, really hard to kill, especially Dodgy only being level 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Soul Ranger at the point now where they're getting a bit tanky. It's definitely gonna take a bit more to scare, especially with Osiris. I mean, especially with that passive of his, he's just gonna get more mitigation. So good luck. But a nice attempt, but unfortunately, just every time he's come over, just all he's gotten maybe was just a little bit of relieved a little bit of pressure for the Arthur. But nothing else really coming out of it.
And if I'm not mistaken, I actually think that this is, I mean, if you look at the damage charts, Osiris is pumping out numbers right now. My man is absolutely going in and doing a ton of work over there, but
Oh no.
actually that's just gonna be a gank. Mans is just dead. Nothing much you can say about that. Pushed up a little bit too far as Heimdall, and unfortunately unable to get the Bifrost. Dodgy has a tendency to just one-shot things, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, this Heim pick not really working out really well for Fuzzy, but looks like a Goldfair is being pulled here by the Skogs. Boom and I can't remember the name. Oh my goodness, Boom and Vicente, not Vicente, Hydrox. My goodness. He was spotted out, but doesn't matter. Skogs secure it really fast. But actually, there's a fight going on, and Hydrox doesn't get a kill on Duck, but Duck gets Boom. And here comes Iron Snake. Oh, nice little leap, and the ultimate does not connect at all. Either all. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Here with the rotation. Here he comes.
Iron Snake is gonna die here. If they get rid of the Vines, Whooper and Phoenix just barely make it out with their lives. My man hit a triple strife into a 1 and just deleted their health bars. To be fair for the Skogs, overall still probably a positive, but actually the fight is still going on as Mr. House is going to get stunned by Osiris. Ooh, strife a bit off the mark, and Mr. House is just going to get away. Using his classic King Arthur 20 dashes, not quite able to collapse on him. But Skogs still get the Gold Fury off of that. Very standard, good play there. They gank the ADC. The ADC is dead. Hey, we have numbers advantage. Let's get Gold Fury. But just a really good fight, and mostly off Bastende getting that huge strife. Just Hydrox also getting a nice pick at the beginning of that definitely feels great as well. But yeah, that man, that was intense. Those vines not dropping immediately definitely made that scary. Phoenix and Whooper were 1 HP.
Shout out to the vines. Stupid
Vines.
thing that they put in, but sometimes it makes for crazy moments like those.
Definitely get more intensity. For me,
Not
it's
as
more of a
soft
shout out
as
to
it
them
looks.
taking away the vines next patch. Really excited for Tuesday. That's gonna be great when those get removed. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've had some cringe stuff happen as a jungler based on those vines just existing, getting in my way and whatnot. But just a nice little fight there. I mean, overall, I don't think either team's really too upset. KWM pretty happy that they got to win the fight off the back end, and Skogs happy that they ended up getting the Gold Fury there. But a nice impale, just gonna put a lot of pressure here. Whooper's gonna look for an engage here. Not much he can do. River's Rebuke is forced out, but good River's Rebuke there, just making sure that the chase can't go any longer. Whooper was for sure looking to get that halt there, but just deters the aggression from that. And now as we're going into the mid game, kind of similar to last time, Skogs do have a bit of a lead this time, whereas I believe KWM had a little bit of lead in the early, but it's not that much. But Mr. House in the back here, Whooper gonna get his ult forced out. The house is just getting collapsed on right now. Very, very low.
Duck does go up into the pile out, does get 2 chains. Nice, goes for the beast, but Boom actually will live, but a nice disco down he goes.
And that's just low health bars on the sides of Scott right now. Iron Snake is going to get a return kill on the Drox. Unfortunately, he was able to pull in Boomhead with the Powwow, but just he's down at their tower. There's no way they could follow up really any further than that. But actually, Iron Snake in a bit of a spot here, but the vines are going to be there. Actually, now it's Private Pussy that's in a bit of a spot as Iron Snake's going to push up, but great Discordia forces out the relics. Good impale on the other side, but he's getting chased by Osiris right now, and he's going to fall. Whooper 1 HP as well here, and ooh, a nice strife over the wall there. Just good engagements there. Nothing more to say. That was great by Token Billy to get in there and just get on top of on her. Also, Bastende forces out the Aegis, which means that it's just free real estate for Billy to get in there and cause some havoc on top of him. And that's a great shutdown. I mean, 2 levels up on the Heimdall. On her, definitely the biggest thing on the playing field right now. Getting him dead feels absolutely great right there. Definitely good target prioritization there. I'm glad to see that they get him down there. But Boomhead getting a little bit ran down here.
Boom, another tough situation. Does pop the river review. Doesn't matter. You're dead too. Boomhead though, actually going for the Spear of Deso, kind of, decided no, I don't really want that many protections. And Spear of Deso's kind of fine, but I think right now with how this game's being played, Boom's just getting picked too often. I don't really like that pick of myself.
Yeah, it's a standard aggressive pick. I think it's mostly off the fact of, hey, I'm 2 levels ahead. I'm also Umoja. I do damage. I'm just gonna try to one-shot people. But yeah, he has definitely been the target of a lot of this aggression, getting prioritized a lot. Right there, I think is just a bit of a pathing mistake. His positioning is a little bit too deep with nobody able to come there. Just good job by the Skogs, able to lock him down. And now they're just gonna pull the objective. Boom's coming from base. They have numbers advantage here. Whooper's gonna
Cyrus ult in, but he does get.
He's actually destroying this dodge D. The Powwow does come out. Pulls in 2 there, but Token Billy now is just going to get collapsed on 1 HP. Iron Snake able to pick that up.
Now the fight continues. They don't need to go for it right now. They want the kill. Token Billy is down behind. Does get the flip it out. Actually, Iron Snake getting a little too aggressive. Does eat the apple and will pay for it. And now KWM might have the advantage as we got some low health bars here. from Skogs, they're gonna back up, and I don't think anyone's gonna get this Oni Fury at this very moment. I actually say that, but maybe KWM might be pathing towards it to look to take it. I mean, 180C is up, so KWM definitely has a nice chance of shutting this if they want to.
This situation, definitely Iron Snake was the bigger pick here because they're going for objectives and that, but actually Dodgy just trying to run down the Sawelix, but the blink in from Mr. House causing a lot of damage here. Idrox going to use the step a little off the mark, unfortunately, but it won't matter. Going to get ran down. He doesn't care about towers. He's a level 17 Arthur. River's Rebuke going to be used, but unfortunately not going to find a ton of value. Phoenix is just going to dash away and live fine and dandy there.
A little bit of awkward fight. Nobody getting the Fury. Kind of just going for more kills. Like I guess we're back into an arena game, but more. Here we go again. Mr. House and Duck hang out with Billy and Boom, but neither I don't think are really gonna get much kills, so they kind of back. But I mean, actually, KDB, I'm kind of chasing them down a little bit. Blue did just spot. I'm gonna go for a little bit of farm here, but will not just secure it. But
just looking to see if they can't get a cheeky steal on the Pants Blue. Not much is going to come of that, but I do want to give a shout out to this Discordia. He has been putting in work this game, getting a ton of value, hitting massive multi-man strifes, changing a big thing. Token Billy as well has been doing a great job just running down. In that last fight, it actually took him a really, really long time to go down. He also pretty much soloed Iron Snake before, or not Iron Snake, excuse me, Duck before he was able to get into the power line and get away. And yeah, just the Mittens solo on KWM just doing really, really good job. And obviously on the flip side of that, Iron Snake is having a really standout game on this on her. He is putting in a ton of work here as the Gold Fury is going to get pulled by KWM. They do about half of it. They're just going to heal up with Boomhev, but they aren't going to fully commit as Skogs are showing face. And Mr. House rotating in. I don't think they had eyes on House because they didn't see him.
Yeah, Duck does get a bit of health bar, his health bar shredded, but does go into the pal out, doesn't get anybody. It looks like Token Billy zoning out the back line here. Nobody's dead, but River Duke does get Duck below it. He does fall, but now Mr. House shredding this poor disco. Relics are popped. Can he get it? No, so low! Mr. House not able to connect it. Phoenix does gonna kill him. The Token Billy. But this Sunday, once again, this man will not die and lives to see another day. Fuzzy, though, spotting out Mr. House trying to shred, but honestly not doing that much damage to this big ol' Arthur. Decides to go right back in. Got two of them on there. Here comes the team. Iron Snake got a nice pillar, nice slow, but also Trox living with no HP, but now Fuzzy is not gonna get it.
He couldn't get into the crystal.
You all right,
and now this Oni Fury gonna go the way of Skogs.
Yeah, as I said, I think in the beginning of that fight, KWM just not realizing that Mr. House wasn't there for that, so they kind of just sit there around for a while. By the time the fight finally starts engaging, House shows up in the backline and starts causing chaos, and to the credit of KWM, Token Billy did do a lot in the beginning of that fight, getting in there in the back as well as Idrox, but in the end, Skogs are just going to end up winning that one. A lot was forced out. I think both relics on Discordia were forced out by the King Arthur as well as Heimdall alt, and after that, they get some good kills on the front line, and Gold Fury's just going to go the way of the Djungelskogs for free.
Now, Gold Fury is looking for Power Manager, but I guess they saw Token Billy, maybe decided to back off. You never knew who was around. No. I guess, yeah, that's it, literally. I thought we were going to see another engagement here, but they're just going to de-ward, get the ward set up, maybe go for the big fire, but
as Octane in the chat is saying, Iron Snake do be up-downing on them jumps, and that's an alpha play. There's mental value in that, let me tell you. When you're up-downing, when the Arthur's just jumping up and down on top of you, you know that man's an alpha, and that can be scary, but the Fire Giant is going to be brought up by the Skogs here, but not enough people from KWM are able to show face. So Arthur's going to get in here.
Oh no, Skogs end up getting in. Fuzzy all the way on the left side for whatever reason, now putting KWM in a bad spot. They're really just getting shredded. Nice apple, that will spread to a few people, but they got Fire Giant now, and now KWM is forced to retreat. Fuzzy will get at least the left tower, maybe the second, but is it worth? As right now, Gogs are in a great position to push Phoenix if they so want to.
Definitely not. I think they just go for Phoenix here. I mean, they have fire. The Soul Laners down. Soul Laners are absolutely massive in stopping these sieges. They're the big tanky person that makes the backline not happy. And they're just gonna run it up. And look at Mr. House once again, just running at this backline while the zoning them off, creating a ton of space. And they're just gonna be able to get this Phoenix absolutely for free.
Nice pull on House.
Nice pull.
Back to.
But Boom actually gets just eviscerated. My man went from 100 to 0. Once again, that the Spear of Death. So, I mean, he's got the Pridwin, he's got the tank boots, he's got whatever. But I can't help but feel if he has a Sov or something there, maybe he doesn't quite get his one-shotted as he just got right there. But
yeah, something. But and also Fuzzy staying in left lane. I mean, I don't understand what the intention was. Like, sure, cool, you got 2 towers, but you just lost Phoenix. If Fuzzy was there, that would have. I mean, yeah, they might have still gotten Phoenix, but at least KWM could have put up a much more of a fight. So, and maybe even Skogs would go in if they saw Fuzzy there. But that was strange decision making, in my opinion.
I agree. I think at the beginning there, maybe they just weren't expecting Skogs to go on fire, and maybe it was one of those moments where Fuzzy's like, oh, you know, I'm already in left. That's unfortunate, you know. Just an unfortunate decision making. I'm in left. I can't do much about it. But the decision to stay in left after they got fire, Phoenix just goes down for free. I mean, nothing they can do about that. It was a 3v5. They had fire. Obviously, Billy died trying, which I don't blame him for going in there. He actually got rather close in attempting to take that FG, but yeah, just a little bit unfortunate. I mean, they call ADC carry for a reason. It's meant to carry the late game, and when you don't have your ADC there to do anything, Djungelskogs are just gonna walk right over you.
Yeah, and we just saw that Phoenix, there's no chance. And now Skogs in a great position. Still got fire for a decent amount of time. Maybe could possibly even look for another Phoenix siege if they so wish. Snake might spot him. Nope, not in time. As he does get back.
Not quite, but yeah, Skogs in a fantastic position here. They still have FG. They're probably going to grab the Pyro real quick as they're moving towards it. And then all T2s are down, honestly, with the amount of lead that they have right now. If they get their backs off, buy up some items, they're probably just going to be able to go for another Phoenix Siege here. I don't see why not. Their late game comp is really, really good. Pretty much every character in the Skogs scales well into the late. Dodgy just one-shots things in the late game.
As it looks, elegant and dangerous.
I would probably grab some items, and just group and go for another Phoenix at this point. You already got one down. Might as well go for the other. So there is going to be a little bit of a grouping on the right side when the Phoenix is already down, but they're just showing some face, letting them know, hey, I'm here, you guys got to defend now.
Yeah, right lane pushed up pretty far now. Their fire mains are going to pour in. This is going to give Skogs a great opportunity to just kind of rush in, but maybe not actually. Maybe they're probably going to head to Primal and just kind of... Maybe their fire is pretty low. I don't see the timer, but I don't remember exactly what they took it, but I believe
it should be pretty low right now. If you look at the timer, there's only about 1/4 left before fire comes up, which means yeah, it's just about to run out. As soon as it hits that 1/4 mark, they really have it. So fire runs out, which is fine. A good play by them. They group up and right to push up that wave so that their fire waves push up. So that way, obviously, KWM has to worry about pushing that right, which means Gold Fury is absolutely going to be free. And they're just going to set up for this next fire now, push up that right wave. And yeah, that's pretty much the play. If you're in the Skogs shoes right now, you just want to keep that pressure on the right wave. Hopefully they still have a fire wave or two, but actually good job by KWM, because realizing they just went to gold, so I'm going to push up that right wave so that we don't got to worry about fire waves. But that was actually a pretty big moment in my mind. Heimdall just used his 3 across the map. That's on max cooldown. That's going to be another, like 2 minutes until that comes back up? That's a really long cooldown on that Heimdall 3. He's not going to be able to... So, 90 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 90 seconds. That still he's not going to have it for this team fight. As Skogs are going to be pushing up. They are here this time to show face, but they're just Skogs just looking for the fight immediately.
Jumping in, how does put Fuzzy in the air does actually stop the honor of connecting, but still doesn't matter. Fuzzy died, and that's a great pick. Phoenix hit the kill on Hydrox. That's 2 for so far, but look at Will. Get him! I'm just
There he goes. Everybody one by one, and that should just be the game. They just run it down right. No shot. Destende is able to do anything with 50 seconds, and
I don't know, but
we saw what happened there too. I mean, Private Fuzzy got ran down, and he couldn't Bifrost out of there. There was nothing he could do. He popped his relics, but he just got ran down by the Usher. Nothing they could do. Just a good collapse there. A little bit of hesitation on KWM's side, and the Djungelskogs just immediately punishing it, sensing the fact that they're kind of just, you know, like floating around, not really sure what to do, and they're like, we'll show you what to do. Defend. And they just jump right on top of them, causing a ton of damage, and just a really good last team fight there. Good collapse. In my mind, standout player, and that was probably Iron Snake. Did a ton of damage just throughout the entire game. Showed a lot of presence, and once again, I gotta just give out shouts to my man, Mr. House. He looked fantastic on this Arthur the entire set. He was running people down. He was causing absolute chaos in the back line. Definitely, probably my player of the set for that. He played game 1 and 2 so well throughout that. But GG's to both teams. That was a banger of a set. Not much more to say. Game 1, definitely a little bit closer on that end. That one was filled with throws and amazing plays and was super back and forth. This one a little bit more on Skog's side throughout, but definitely showed signs of life throughout. Bastende in particular looked actually really, really good in that game. Got a ton of huge plays off and did a good amount of damage. Got some big strikes throughout.
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like the Wheelix pick just didn't do that much. Wasn't terrible, but I think of just there's better options that could have been picked there. And of course, that Spirit Gesto on the Emoja, I think that was kind of weird when you were already getting blown up and targeted. Why would you go damage? Because you're not really gonna. I mean, yeah, you'll hit him a little harder and got some cooldown, but you're not really gonna stop him with that. So I feel like that should have definitely just been some kind of defense or health item or something, just something that wasn't just pure damage.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be fair for Idrox, though, he did play the Wheelix well, but as I said, I think just picking it in general was a really bad thing. I think Jungle's in a really good spot right now off the fact that a lot of jungles are good right now, especially after the shell nerf. That opened up the table for so many more things. So many gods that were not viable in comp for so long, like the Daji, like the Mercury, like Bakasora. Those sorts of things just weren't able to be played now that they're up. I think there was just way more on the table that you could have gotten other than a Wheelix, but overall, that was just an amazing set. I had a ton of fun watching that and casting that. GG's to both teams. I think this is definitely one for. I think this is one that KWM can learn a lot if they were to do a VOD review. I think there's a lot of things that they definitely had some shining moments and some some really good plays throughout. Definitely really good signs of life, but a little bit of things to clean up. But overall, both teams played really, really well. Definitely gonna just keep riding the Mr. House train and say that he had a fantastic set overall. Yeah, that was a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That was great. I'm glad. You know what? Fine, Phoenix. I'll give you a compliment. You picked a good set for us to cast, even though you were in it. I will admit it was a good one. But yeah, that was great. I agree. KWM had such great moments, but there were just some sloppy things. I feel like game 2 a bit more than game 1. I feel like even game 1, there's a lot to learn from how those sieges kind of just failed. But that was great. I had a ton of fun. Yeah, is there anything else you wanna mention before?
Nope. I think that'll do all. Thank you everybody for tuning in and coming here. That was a really good set to watch. From everyone here, shout out to Feline Frenzy. my man Mac out here on the camera did a fantastic job. Pretty much caught all of the action throughout. So big shout out to him.
Thank you.
Obviously, I'm here with Black Mage Vivi. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and hopefully you guys catch some of the games coming up soon because there's plenty more action to be had today in Valhalla, and I'm excited to watch more of the sets.
Me too. Yeah. Have a good one, everybody.
Yep, from us at the Gaston team. See you later. Thank you very much. Have a good one.